Hey Journey Kids, my name is Rachel and I'm our Connections Director here at Journey. Whether you're watching online or you're here in person this morning, thanks for joining us. This month at Journey Kids, our theme is the big picture. Life can be complicated, right? In fact, Jesus told his disciples that we may have trouble in this world. Sometimes we may not understand why something happens the way it does, but in spite of the things that go wrong or the things we don't understand, we can have hope that God knows what's best and he is always working for our good. Because of this, we can trust that God sees the big picture and that the story of Jesus is good news for everybody. All right, now let's hear a message from Miss Sophie.
Hi Journey Kids, it's me, Sophie, your Journey Kids Director. I'm so glad to be with all of you this morning. Our faith practice this month is to tell your friends about Jesus. Did you know that Jesus gave the best news ever? He loves us, he died for us, and he wants us to be his forever. When we know something this amazing, we want to share it with others, and that's exactly what Jesus asks us to do. That can look like inviting your friend to church, sharing a Bible story with them, or simply telling someone that Jesus loves them. No matter how small, every time we share about Jesus, we help spread his love and light to the world. Mark 16:15 says, "Go and tell everyone the good news." So let's be bold and tell our friends about Jesus this month. All right, now Journey Kids, let's stand up and get ready for worship.
Situation is hopeless. When it looks like things aren't going the way I wanted, I remember every battle you've won. I remember, God, you are where my help comes from. This world gonna have trouble, Jesus, you have overcome. In this world gonna have trouble, Jesus, you have overcome. Hope is alive,
Cleanup time!
Oh, you know, I still get that preschool cleanup song stuck in my head. You know the one that goes like, clean up, everybody wash your hands, clean up, something everybody wants. Oops. Aw, man.
Welcome to Story Lab. This week we're taking a look at the story of something unexpected. Hey, I'm Carter.
And I'm Zeke.
This month we're talking about why the story of Jesus is good news.
And all the ways that it can give us hope.
I hope we can do something cool with all these leaves.
Maybe we can branch out,
I see what you did there, man.
Well, we just restocked the paints, so... Oh, I know what we're gonna do. Leaf prints.
Excellent.
Let's try it.
What kind of leaves do you have there?
So we got maple, I think, oak, hickory, oh, and palm leaves.
Aha! Because
Palm Sunday.
You see, with this one is an oak leaf. You see how the veins branch out from the stem? It's just like branches reach out from a tree trunk.
Oh, and this maple leaf, it's the exact same thing.
Very cool. Now, the veins of a leaf carry water, minerals, and food from the stem to the tip and back again. They have different patterns and shapes depending on the plant.
And those veins are gonna make some really cool patterns today.
Right. You can work with preserved leaves like these or fresh leaves straight from the tree. Now, we've got a lot of bright spring paint colors to use today.
We'll also need some sponge paint daubers.
And something to paint on like these canvases.
Plus paper and a rolling pin. So starting off with step 1, use a paint dauber to dab paint on the underside of the leaves and place them on the canvas.
The underside has all the veins.
I'll go with this color.
Now, step 2. Put a sheet of paper over your leaves and then use a rolling pin to press them down into the canvas. Step 3. Take off the paper and pull up your leaves to reveal your prints.
Ready?
Ready.
Wow.
Wow.
Look at that!
You see that? It looks cool, right, guys?
Oh yeah, you can see every single vein.
And the stem.
Oh yeah.
Veins branching from it.
Wow.
Man, I did not expect this when we walked into the lab.
Speaking of unexpected things, it's time for...
The story before the story.
Today we're in John, the 4th book in the New Testament. But before John, back in the very beginning...
Out of a deep, deep love, God made an amazing world. But when people turned away from God, the world was broken.
God made a plan to draw people back into relationships. So, at the right time, God sent Jesus.
When Jesus grew up, he traveled from town to town, teaching and healing. Because of the amazing things Jesus did, some people were ready to crown him king.
But some people were ready to get rid of him. They all waited to see if Jesus would show up in Jerusalem for Passover.
Which is where our story starts.
Take it away.
Hey everyone, I'm Brian. As the Passover celebration approached, things in Jerusalem got tense. Some people were convinced that Jesus was the rescuer God had promised. They wanted him to save them from the Romans. But the religious leaders were worried that Jesus was changing everything. And right before Passover, Jesus did something extraordinary. Jesus' friend Lazarus had died and been placed in a tomb. When Jesus arrived, he stood before the tomb and called,
Lazarus, come out.
News of this amazing miracle quickly reached the religious leaders.
What can we do? This man is performing many signs and wonders.
If we let him keep doing this, everyone will believe in him.
He'll cause riots. The Romans won't like that.
They'll destroy us.
So the religious leaders made a terrible decision. They would look for a way to get rid of Jesus. Soon people began to pour into Jerusalem for the Passover celebration. Thousands of people traveled to the city every year for Passover. It was a tradition, a little like many people celebrate Christmas or Easter now. And as people crowded into the city and came to the temple, they wondered,
will Jesus come to Jerusalem for the feast?
I hope we get to see him.
I heard the chief priest gave orders to arrest him.
Maybe he'll lead a revolt against the Romans.
Meanwhile, a few miles outside the city, Jesus spoke to two of his followers.
Go to the village ahead of you. As soon as you get there, you will find a donkey's colt tied up. Untie it and bring it here. Someone may ask you, why are you untying it? If so, say, the Lord needs it.
Hey, what are you doing over there?
The Lord needs it.
The Lord? Wait, Jesus of Nazareth? He's coming? Take it. Hey, everyone, Jesus is coming.
As people learned that Jesus was on his way, they laid down their own coats on the path, a sign of reverence and respect. Others cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road too. As Jesus approached, they began to shout,
Hosanna!
Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord.
Blessed is the King of Israel.
Hosanna!
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 Jesus had walked many, many miles on foot, teaching and healing. But on this last stretch of road to Jerusalem, he chose to ride in on a donkey. Now, this may have been confusing to his followers and people along the way. They wanted Jesus to be a king, and yet he rode a humble donkey instead of an impressive war horse. But you know what's cool? This actually fulfilled a prophecy God gave to the prophet Zechariah hundreds of years earlier.
City of Zion, do not be afraid. See, your king is coming. He is sitting on a donkey's colt.
Even though God's people had spent many years living in another land, and then under the rule of foreign nations, God was still at work. And through Jesus, God's promises to rescue them were being fulfilled. But no one understood this. Yet. The end.
Wow, the people want a king and Jesus rides a donkey.
He definitely was not trying to make himself look impressive.
Well, Jesus is a king, but not the kind that people were expecting.
So, what's our part in the story?
God's people had seen some pretty dark times. Since God had promised to send someone to rescue them, the people had been exiled in a foreign land and then returned home only to be ruled by foreign kings. It seemed like one awful thing after another. But Jesus brought them hope.
And hope is believing something good can come out of something bad.
Just like God's people then, we all experience difficult things sometimes.
Like having to switch schools or move to another state.
Or maybe you get a bad grade on a test.
Or your family pet dies.
When hard things happen, you can remember that God is still at work.
Even when we don't understand everything that's going on,
like Jesus' followers on Palm Sunday,
we can still trust that God is with us.
That's right. If you're feeling confused or uncertain, ask God to give you hope and trust that God can bring something good out of what you're going through.
He's always with you.
No matter what.
I think you've got it. See you next time.
So, here's the thing. Whatever happens, remember God is still working.
God was at work during the many years the people were under foreign rule.
And God is still at work no matter what you're going through right now.
It's the one thing that holds everything together.
Kinda like a stem. Speaking of which, we should probably clean up again.
Yeah, maybe we can find some other cool supplies.
Maybe.
Clean up, clean
No.
up. Oh, just leave me alone. Huh?
I will if I'm Maple. Thanks for joining us in the Story Lab.
See you next time.
I will if
That
I'm
was pretty
Maple.
good. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
actually.
but
I'm
you
surprised
need-
by that. Wait,
You are?
you didn't make that yourself, did
I
you?
did.
You did?
I-
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You didn't read it in a book, did you?
What book?